can definitely put testimonies into purpose. Growing up in Brooklyn, you grow up in your environment, and I grew up in projects. So you have young girls doing what? Getting pregnant, having sex, taking drugs, and so on and so forth. But when I moved away from Brooklyn and got married and came here, my very first thing that I wanted to do was work with teenage girls. And so I started a program called Daughters of Excellence in Christ Jesus. And that springboarded it. And as I worked with teenage pregnancy, some kind of way my name got in the community and the door opened up, in which I actually began to work for a grant project called Community Alliance. I'm trying to make it short. But just looking at my life, all of those testimonies come from where I came from. Even with the plays, if you come and you watch one of the plays, my life is in it. I won't tell you what part, I won't tell you what scene, but you can see my life in it. And so that is definitely a testimony, because that's purpose, because that speaks volumes to the audience that's walking in those same places. So definitely my testimony, it crosses over into purpose, and it crosses over into what it is that I do daily. I can't see myself working, and I'm not saying that I'm better, but I can't see myself working in a manufacturing plant. You know, I've got to be out, because I've got to be touching people. I've got to be in the masses. And then there's a lot of creativity on the inside of me. That's got to go out. You know, it's just got to go out. Or I'll be most miserable. And so I see where my life testimony crosses over with purpose and as to what it is that he's doing in my life. That's why when we say, well, what's the purpose? What's your purpose? I got too many. I don't know. Because of what I've been through. And listening to you speak, there's some domestic stuff that people got to hear. So women got to come out. So that's why you was chosen to go through it. You know, and I'm not trying to prophesy over your life, but as a preach trying to come up again.
And I told Mr. this about what.
Amen.
You know,
Mommy, my
anybody else?
I'm hungry.
Anybody from the audience?
Since our subject focus is positive attitude, how has your attitude helped you as you walk through some of the things you walk? You know, we talked about, you know, how has, you know, I guess, staying positive or staying focused on God help you walk through those things?
Now this has happened, it's day to day, that's how I live, and I'm not lying, day to day. I wake up, day to day I go. Let me tell you, if I let distractions, and I'm not lying, when it comes to men, a lot of people don't understand you're a beautiful woman, why are you single? Because God ain't placed that man in my life, and until then, I don't want none of your mess in my head. That's all it is. If I get distracted anyway when it comes to financial, because a lot of times I come up the walls, and all I do is pray, and God automatically. And the money, one thing people need to understand about favor, when you got God's favor, you don't need money, because he just, you don't worry about it, and it all falls into place. Not one cent ever comes out of my pocket. If I do not keep my focus on Jesus Christ, that I'm covered in the blood, that his angels, and he goes before me, he makes my way. If I do not keep my focus, I tell you what, I will end up in the floor crying my eyes out, feeling rejected, and I'm not lying, because I've always felt rejected. Condemned. But I tell you what, I am a worshiper. And I keep his praise continuously in my mouth. And I try to bless, and I'm not lying, I try to bless every person I come in contact with. Even the ones that are nasty to me, sometimes I got to check myself. Read the love chat. If I ain't in there, something's messed up. Get right with me. If I take my focus off Jesus, it will go horrible. And I here can go quickly from Jesus Christ to exactly where I come out. So if I don't stay positive, it's destruction. That's all it is.
And I got a question for you, just because I am a single young lady myself. How have you broke the I guess the ties to that man that you feel like you got to have? And that's been my biggest. I done listened to Juanita Bynum, No More Sheep, and I talk about it. I have studied the body fluid exchange. I have prayed and fasted over it, but some things that flesh still keep crying out for that I have put on submissive, and I might be able to do a month, but I creep on there and I let that enemy slip in, and I'm like, okay, now I got to start all back over.
I have the same problem, but let me tell you, that's why I say I take it day by day.
Okay.
And do you know the best thing you can do?
You don't want to hear this because Ruby ain't want to hear this. Sometimes I have to tell myself, I fight with myself. I mean, I literally do. Put your phone down. You get a text, don't answer the text. You get a call, and girl, I know it's hard because that's a big old pretty man. And you think you're dead Jesus, I'm a single woman. But you know what? God, what God got for you, don't let that enemy take it. That's what he's doing. He's bringing it. He want to get it in your life just for you to take it. What God got for you is so much greater than what that man can do. Literally. Put your phone. Put it to the side. You got, how old are your babies?
I just have one. I have 15 years.
Oh, yeah, Jesus, yours ain't baby. Okay, mine are 8 and 9. So, I mean, we are literally, I kickbox too. I play basketball. If I get frustrated and if I don't keep my focus on Jesus, I will tear something up physically with my fist. So I will take off running. My babies love to run. I literally turn my focus on my babies, my praise music. I get my Bible out. You have to get mad at the situation. Think of it like this. He might be coming at you to love on you, just to love on you here, but when he leaves, how do you feel? And that's real. So you need to get mad at that feeling that you feel like, if I don't do this, I ain't gonna have it. You gotta get mad at it, girl. But a holy madness. You gotta get mad towards sin. And it's a hard thing to do when you're trying to die to self. But that's what I do. I will make myself, I'm not lying, get so mad. Listen to the words that are spoken to you and ask the Spirit discern. Saying, God, I mean, the enemy comes sometimes and he's big and beautiful, and you think, oh, dear Jesus, because that's what I got to do. Run, Forrest, run. And that's real life, especially when you're a single woman.
That's right.
Really, ask God.
Okay.
And it's not an age thing. You always have that flush to deal with. All you do is ask God to take the urge away. I know you think I'm too old to want sex and desire anybody, but that is not true. If you ask God to take it away, you won't have that urge. And I've had, since I died, I had 3 different men at different time approach me. Because a lot of times when you're a widow, a lot of people want to come in and move in. So the first guy came, and he was all about playing. And I said, no, you can go on. The second one came, I thought was okay because he was an educator. He said, oh, these guys are older. I always want an older man. I don't want to fool no young chap, okay? And he's after a godly man and a man who's after God's own heart, first of all. So the second one, I said, well, this one's going to work because, he's educating everything else. And the guy had nerve to say, I went to church today. I said, it's a long time you've been to church. I said, oh, Lord, no, you're not for me. And then the third one was a younger guy. I say, well, I don't know about this young thing. And I said, I don't know about that. But he said, please talk to me. I said, baby, I just can't rock no crazy. I got to have somebody who got money. I'm old enough now where I need somebody who can help me, not me help him. Yeah, I got 3 vehicles, a house, and all that, full of load and all that. I don't need anybody coming in with me. And so God has given me comfort to be by myself. And so if you pray, God can get you to that point.
Watch what you listen to. Music-wise, watch what you listen
Well,
to.
no, I've been a woman of purpose, and I met this guy in the church. So I feel like I was strong on the battlefield, but I let my guard down because I met him in the church. So I'm not the average clubber, drinker, smoker. So, but us who single, saved, and satisfied to a degree.
Yeah.
Okay, now you next.
I like that to a degree.
Well, I'm single, saved, and satisfied, but to a degree as well. But I do know that the Lord has the ability, if we want to be kept, He will indeed keep us. And it's all about temptation. You can be tempted by a lot of different things, but we have to hold fast to the Word of God that says there is no temptation that can overtake us that's uncommon to man. So what you're dealing with, many of us have dealt with, because God is faithful, and He will never allow us to be tempted above what we can stand, because we have everything with us to withstand it. But we have to make a choice, because when we are tempted, He always gives us a way of escaping. And so we have to choose if we want to escape or do we want to satisfy the flesh.
Yeah.
And those things, Regina all the time said, well, Nidhi, you're not dating, you're not doing this, you're not doing that. And, because she is a lover. Now, I love to tell her, but when she said that the anniversary, she know I was leaping on the inside with that, because I just see it as such a beautiful thing, because she is such a beautiful person. But for me, some people are million. So now I have to check myself, but as a single person, I am satisfied. There are things that I do that only takes one, and that's, I'm into photography. Things like that, I love nature and going out, I'm satisfied with that, but when God sees fit to send me someone, when I'm a whole person, I mean, I know He's gonna send someone and things will be all right.
What I wanted to say is a lot of times we just need to be practical. When I say we need to be practical, we need to understand how we have been created. We have been created to be sexual beings. He told Adam and Eve to come together and become one flesh. We're all grown in here, right? So that means that we are sexual beings. That means that my body yearns, my body desires, and my body wants. Let's be practical and let's be real with it. As she said, don't answer the text. Because you answer the text, you'll smell his cologne. Okay? Don't answer the phone. If you answer the phone, you're going to see his hairy legs. So we got to be practical in what it is that we're doing when we're making certain decisions about certain things. So if I know that I'm going in a way that I don't need to go, and I tell my daughter all the time, do you really want to ride that bus? Because that bus going to take you where you don't want to go. So why don't you get off right now? So sometimes we just need to be practical. Sometimes I feel, touch me, please. But don't put myself in a position to be touched. You know what I mean? So we got to be practical and be real. And I don't feel like God come and take the desire away. I think what it is you just being practical, sweetness. You saying no. Because if you meet Mr. Right,
I'm not looking.
so I think we just need to be practical when we're talking about sexual or when we're talking about men, period. If we're in certain situations, sometimes, God will allow us a way of temptation, like the phone may ring and cause us to snap out of what we have allowed ourselves to get to. If we're in the midst of let's just say we're sitting and talking and we get to a point where in which we can't return, the phone will ring. That's your way of escape right there. But sometimes we'll override the phone and act like we ain't hear it, and we'll keep going. So you have to ask yourself, do I want to ride down that? Do I want to get on this bus? Or do I recognize where I'm going? So let me stop it before we get there. Don't pick up that phone because you're going to smell like cologne. Don't answer the text or you're going to see his hairy legs. No, I keep saying hairy legs, but you're going to see that big old chest. And she said, that big old pretty man, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it to yourself. Let's just be practical and be real. It is what it is. It's what we are created to be.
And that's the hardest part. And the single women in here, but I think the hardest part for me, I was doing so well. And then when the devil put that distraction on it, I was like, oh, my fine first man is in the church. Knew the Bible, like the well, of course, Lucifer was in heaven. So here I was, putting so much forth effort. And when I did decide, my friends was like, Angie, you won't go out, Angie, you're doing something with, just get you a friend. So I allowed that to cut out my judgment. And I was like, Lord, look at me. I always, going around the same bush over and over and over. Now it's like I'm hard to, conform, and then, with society, especially for the younger generation, know your role is taking over. I'd rather have a piece of man in than no man at all. I'm thinking, wait a minute. So, I just want y'all to pray for me. I'm asking y'all just to pray for me, because even as I'm ministering and God has me as his role model for other women, for these other women, I got to stand fast with what I know is right while I break the stronghold from what I already have committed. So, pray for me as well.
Can I say something on that? Coming at you for that. I think everybody wants something.
I was just gonna say I have my goddaughter, she's single, whatever. And her just stay with the man, having to have a man, whatever. But I just told her, I said, when you get to the point of you think more of yourself, you think of yourself the way God created you, I said, then you'll see yourself different. I said, until you love you and you're okay with you, you're gonna be no good with nobody else. I said, and you gotta realize and understand, playing house and being in the house is two different things. And this thing of being somebody's wifey, I said, do you know what wifey is? I said, that's the role of a wife with no benefits. I said, so stop that. I said, but you gotta get to a point as a single, beautiful young lady to start thinking more highly of yourself. I said, when you think high enough of yourself, then you'll realize that man's gotta come up to. I said, so you won't settle for it down here. You gotta think higher of yourself. I said, you were created for purpose. I said, you were beautiful, uniquely made. I said, listen, look at what the word says about you. I said, and then he tells you he who found a wife. I said, so why are you out here looking for somebody?
There you go.
I said, just